A sweep, not a competitive series, not even a gentleman's sweep, a straight up ass whooping for the Grizzlies. I don't care if it was the Thunder, who are the best team in the league. I don't care if Ja got hurt. The team was embarrassed night after night, and it dates back much farther than the playoffs. Once sitting as the 2 seed in the West late in the year, Memphis managed to pull off a crazy regular season collapse, and it leaked over into the play-in and the playoffs. Every approach during the season was a question mark for me and confused me, as I believe that it was really dumb how they handled the coaching situation and even before that, the trade deadline. Size was a big part of their demise during the season, if you ask me. Don't exactly trust Zach Edey to be your starting center. Jaren Jackson was great during the regular season, but he isn't physical size that can enforce for your team. They were bad on the interior in every way, from controlling the glass to having a presence on both ends. Everything was just terrible. Three-point shooting was pathetic outside of Desmond Bane and Santi Aldama all year. I don't care who is a good historical three-point shooter in that regard or who is known as a good shooter. Both of those players were the only two players you could rely on to shoot the ball from three. Defensively on the perimeter, the team was atrocious altogether down the stretch. The team simply could not guard. Anyone who was a competent defender was a liability on offense, and anyone who could score was atrocious on defense. A glaring issue here. Grizzlies had no two-way players on the perimeter, yet there were so many options on the board at the deadline, and with the assets they had, making no move was a joke. Memphis was never a true contender all year, even when they stood atop the West, and I reiterated this time and time again with some resistance from some. They were not a true contender at any point. Lacking a true center with a physical presence on both ends of the court and no two-way players who they could rely on outside of their rookie Jalen Wells, it was clear this team was not serious at all. And flash forward to when Taylor Jenkins, one of the better coaches in the league, was fired, an unnecessary move for Memphis to make when they did. We watched them plummet immediately after, even though they were already on that trajectory. All you could do was just sit there and laugh, as the team was just not that good at all. The coach that kept their head above water without their best players and injury after injury was fired mid-season, not because he was a bad coach, but because the best player was unhappy with how much the offense didn't involve him at times. Ja, you missed 32 of 82 games, playing in a grand total of 50. In those 32 games, how do you think the team was able to win without you? Because they were able to play without your ball dominance. So I ask, why is it so concerning for you that you have the ball in your hand? Your team found a way to win without you, and you're complaining that everyone around you is able to develop. When you missed the playoffs last year, it was because of the inability to play without the superstars. Now that the team can, it's a problem. Make it make sense. With all the games the trio misses between Ja, Bane, and Triple J, you would think that the team would be a bottom feeder, but no. Credit to Taylor Jenkins because the team was actually good and competent. That brings me to my main point. Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, and Jaren Jackson Jr. I believe one of you three are on your way out of Memphis this offseason. Jaren Jackson Jr., I'm not sure the exact number, but I'm pretty sure you're owed about $230 million on your next extension. And you played like you were worth it in the regular season. Can't say the same about the postseason. He's supposed to be a premier defender that competes for DPOY every year, yet he is never the primary defender on any elite players. You let Zach Edey die on an island against Jimmy Butler in the play-in. I don't even remember if you were guarding AD in the play-in game against the Mavs, but you either ducked smoke or AD gave you 40 on amazing efficiency. And then against OKC, you were a no-show on defense. Reminder, the shot blocking and versatility is what made him a DPOY, but he did not showcase any of that. All year he was a candidate for DPOY though, just remember that. Heading into the playoffs, I said we don't know what we are going to get from him because historically, well, he doesn't show up in the playoffs, and that held true this year since he didn't. Offensively, he forgot how to use his left hand that he impressed with all year. It vanished simply. Shooting-wise, he was suspect at best, and he was so reliant on jump shots, which makes him such a negative on offense. Can he be traded though? I don't think so. He was too vital in the regular season, and he's the most important player on Memphis, as if he were to unlock himself and reach the full potential he has, and I think he is close to it, I think Memphis would be a very good team, and they would be more confident. And I think Memphis sees that Jaren Jackson Jr. will unlock this potential, reach that potential, so I don't think he will be traded. He needs to get in the lab, however, because if he gets that massive contract extension and plays another postseason like how he did, I will lose all hope and I will be crashing out. Ja Morant is one of the most electric players in the NBA, but the trade rumors about him have been storming in. Could Ja be moved? Absolutely, as it is clear Memphis has reached its ceiling with the roster, and it either can be corrected by a full reset or a blockbuster. In a reset, Ja is clearly out the door, and a lot of signs point to this regardless. Many suitors loom for Ja, as he is again one of the best point guards in the league and is an electrifying talent. Off the court and health issues aside, any team without a true starting point guard would love the addition of him. Here's the catch that has been mentioned previously. Ja Morant is never healthy and is extremely injury prone, hurting his value immensely. If Ja could find a way to stay healthy, it would be a no-brainer for teams to trade for him, or Memphis this season could have gone much differently. Every year, he misses a substantial amount of time, and it leads to the Grizzlies' ultimate demise. Does any team want to risk that? Shockingly, the answer to that question is probably a yes, given how Ja is a generational talent, and many teams, including the Grizzlies, need to shake it up. If Ja is traded, where will he end up? I've seen many rumors about a Ja and Trey swap. I can confidently say that won't happen. I've seen the Miami Heat as a potential spot, Orlando, Houston, and even Minnesota, which is intriguing. The Trey Ja deal is simply stupid, but would be like a virtual one-for-one swap. I doubt this happens because Trey is more reliable, he loves Atlanta, and is a superstar for that team. Mind you, Atlanta has been reconstructing around Trey now to a point that the team looks like it has a clear foundation to a scary extent. Miami seems interesting as the big three of Ja, Hero, and Bam would feed families. Yet, if there is one person in the league that does not want anything to do with Ja, it is probably Pat Riley, especially considering how Jimmy Butler's time in Miami ended. Orlando needs a point guard in the worst way possible. Ja Morant is not the answer there, though, because Orlando needs a point guard who can shoot. Ja cannot shoot whatsoever, making this fit poor. Houston is the same case as Orlando, and I really doubt they look at Ja as the option, and even more importantly, I doubt that Memphis wants to send Ja to a team they don't like in the Rockets. Perhaps the most intriguing destination for Ja is the Timberwolves. Financially, I don't foresee how this would work, but if you manage to maintain all your depth while adding Ja, this team could be ridiculous. Out of all the possible options that are rumored, I do not think Ja ends up landing in any of these spots mentioned. If this were any other player, I would sit here and say yes, Ja Morant's time with the Grizzlies is over. However, considering how he is unreliable, gets hurt a lot, and has limitations making him need to be in a perfect situation for him to thrive, and whichever destination he ends up at, I think it is clear that Ja Morant will not be moved this offseason unless it is to a rebuilding team in a 3-team trade or even a desperate team at that. And it would have to be some type of blockbuster where Memphis gets a superstar in return. Desmond Bane is an elite shooter and has developed into a quality playmaker while expanding on his ability to put the ball on the floor. However, similarly to Triple J, Bane has been horrible in the playoffs, and it continued this season after putting up tour dates against OKC. However, it is clear Bane is turning into a legit co-star, and with teams looking for complementary pieces to go next to their stars, I think Bane is going to be on the move. He can shoot, score, play make, play on and off the ball, and does not shy away on the defensive end. With Memphis needing either a true reliable star or a true big and legit 3-and-D options, packaging Bane and picks to a team of need will allow the team to get the best return to set them up for contention as Ja and Triple J become the true center point of the rebuild. I can see a deal between the Nets and Memphis where Memphis lands Cam Johnson in a 3-team deal, shipping Bane to a team in need of shooting. I could see the Bucks as a small possibility. Orlando is interesting. I think he could end up there. And I could even see Detroit as a dark horse. After Luka landed in LA, I think Bane can go very many different places, but I think he will be on the move this offseason, considering he is the best complementary player of the 3 and has value across the league for teams looking for a shakeup. If any of the 3 go, it is Bane. Either way, the Grizzlies need to make a massive move this offseason to have any hope for the next season and the future. Ja stays, Jaren Jackson stays, but Desmond Bane is out. That is what I foresee happening, but if I were Memphis, I would trade Bane for quality depth at the wing and at the 5. Then I move Brandon Clark for a cheaper shot maker and creator. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I will be making one similar for every eliminated team, so if you enjoyed, hit the subscribe and like button, as it does help out a lot. Y'all be safe. Have a good one. Bye.